Listen, I'm sure with everything inside of me that you can only become what you desire to become in this life. If you're allowing your mind to be filled with negativity, it is inevitable that you will become a negative person. But if you allow your spirit and your mind to be focused or overdosed on positive things, you will become what you want to become. I think it is very important to have a certain image of yourself and to believe in that image and carry yourself like you are that very image of yourself, even before you become the manifestation of that image. There is nothing pretentious about belief. In fact, I think belief is the most powerful thing. I think belief shapes everything in this life. Everything. It's funny because when I was younger and I was not even now, even today, I could talk to people who would, let's say their ankle twists, right? And they'd be like, my ankle's twisted. I'm going to be out for 1 week or 2 weeks. Let's say they were playing football, for example. And for me, if I twisted my ankle or something, I would just be like, oh, okay, no big deal. I'll be back in the game in 5 minutes. I wouldn't even be thinking I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm just thinking that I'm getting back immediately. And the truth is, I would notice that the same things that could happen to one person could affect two different people differently. The person who thinks of it in a more severe way might have a more severe reaction. The other person who thinks it's nothing, will be nothing to that person. Of course, there are other factors that come into play in these things, but truly the power of belief is an incredible thing. Now, the truth of the matter is this, that the whole system, the world system we live in, is so corrupt that the whole belief system, your whole belief system, to some degree is somewhat tainted if you have grown up in this world, because they tell you about medicine, they tell you about this, they tell you about that. You've been programmed from when you were born to look at with the world or life in a certain way. And when you are now being relieved relieved of that worldview, it really can be challenging, because you're now going against everything that you've been taught. Every single thing that you've been taught. Now, for me, I truly understand what Jesus meant when he talked about being born again, because everything is different. And I realize now that it's like a struggle, in a sense, because you're leaving behind negativity, everything that you thought was true or real, just because you were told it was. And now you're seeing the world in a different light. And the rest of the world will continue to stay that way. So you often feel isolated in your soul. But the truth is, there are many people who are just like you. And so help us God, we find each other and we stick together, But we all need to be able to withstand, because you don't want to be a slave. And everybody is a slave to some degree, to something of the world mentally. Or if you are not born again, and if you're not changing the way you think, which is the real repentance, to change the way you think and the way what you believe. This is just food for thought. And that, for me personally, it's a very deep thing. And I always believed in Jesus, but now I understand that it's so much so much deeper, I mean, I don't mean it's deeper than Jesus. It's all about Jesus for me as a Christian. But even people who don't believe in Jesus, some people are awake to some certain things, but then there is the salvation aspect. Anyways, this video was not intended to go that whole direction, but it's just food for thought. You have to be able to withstand and really question everything that you think you believe, because the world in itself is like a slave colony, if that makes sense. Food for thought. God bless.